The Miami Dolphins are staring at a nightmare no fan wanted to imagine this early in the season. No wins. Not a single one. Week after week, the team has walked onto the field carrying expectations that feel heavier than their pads, and they've left the stadium with nothing but frustration. People are already whispering that this could be the end of the Tua Tagovailoa era in Miami. And if things spiral even more, how long before Mike McDaniel himself gets sent packing mid-season? That possibility doesn't feel far-fetched anymore. It feels real. It feels dangerously close. The question that burns: is there still a chance to turn it all around, or is this already the point of no return? The answer isn't simple, because the Dolphins' struggles aren't tied to a single issue. They're woven into both offense and defense, in execution, in attitude, in leadership. But everything always circles back to one man, the quarterback. The team will go as far as Tua takes them, and right now, he's not taking them anywhere near victory. Tua himself knows it. He hasn't tried to run away from the criticism. He admitted it openly in a recent interview. He said what many already believed. He hasn't been good enough this year, and until he's better, the Dolphins can forget about being contenders. That self-awareness matters, sure, but what does it change if the production doesn't follow? The clock is ticking, the season is slipping, and admitting the obvious won't buy him endless patience from fans or ownership. It wasn't long ago that Tua looked like one of the brightest arms in the league. He led the NFL in passer rating. He once sat near the top in passing yards and completion percentage. He looked like the kind of quarterback who could finally end decades of disappointment in Miami. That version of Tua feels distant now. His numbers in 2025 are flat, uninspired. An average of 191.7 yards per game, his lowest since his rookie year back in 2020. Think about the contrast. In 2022, he averaged 260 yards. In 2023, he jumped even higher to 272 per game. The trend was supposed to keep rising. Instead, it crashed. The money tells another story. Tua signed his massive 4-year extension worth $212 million, the kind of contract that screams franchise cornerstone. That deal was supposed to silence all doubts, cement his role as the future of the franchise. But after signing, the return hasn't justified the price tag. In 11 games, he managed 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, and just under 2,900 yards. Not bad, not disastrous, but not what you expect from a quarterback making elite money. The Dolphins finished with an 8-9 record, missing the playoffs, and instead of momentum, they carried mediocrity into the offseason. Now, in 2025, the drop-off is sharper. 5 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 575 total passing yards. These are not the numbers of a savior. These are the numbers of a quarterback under fire. And when the quarterback is questioned, the head coach never escapes the spotlight. Mike McDaniel was once praised as an innovative mind, the type of leader who could change the way this offense attacked. But that glow has faded. His decisions, his game plans, his adjustments, they all feel stale. Some fans are already calling him overrated. The front office made questionable offseason moves too, moving Jalen Ramsey and Jonnu Smith, stripping away proven pieces from the roster. Was it a rebuilding move disguised as competitiveness? Or simply a miscalculation? Either way, it's part of why 2025 looks this ugly. McDaniel still talks with confidence. He still backs his quarterback. He praised Tua's mindset, his ability to stay locked in despite the losing streak. He said that if Tua had a weaker mentality, things would look much worse. He highlighted that focus, that determination to go 1-0 against the Jets, as if that single week can become the building block for something bigger. But is it enough? Do words about focus matter when the scoreboard keeps screaming failure? Here's the uncomfortable reality. If the Dolphins want to dream about the playoffs, they can't afford another slip. They would have to be nearly flawless from this point on, piecing together something like a 10-4 run. That kind of turnaround sounds impossible on paper. And maybe it is. But NFL history has seen strange resurrections before. Since 1990, only 4 teams that started 0-3 managed to claw their way into the postseason. For out of 165, that's 2.4%. Not impossible, but hardly encouraging. Do the Dolphins have the grit to join that tiny club? Or will they just become another statistic in the pile of failure? The upcoming schedule doesn't help. Los Angeles Chargers in Week 6, Baltimore Ravens in Week 9, Washington Commanders in Week 10, Buffalo Bills in Week 11. Each of those games feels like a test the Dolphins haven't shown they can pass. And that's just leading up to the bye week. The margin for error is already gone, and the challenge keeps growing. But here's the sliver of hope. The next stretch of opponents isn't overwhelming. Jets, Panthers, Chargers, Browns. Winnable games on paper. Games that could restore momentum, or at least stop the bleeding. But can this Dolphins team, as it currently stands, actually deliver in games they're supposed to win? That's the cruel part about this slump. Nothing feels guaranteed anymore. The defense isn't bailing them out. The offense isn't explosive. Mistakes pile up, drives stall, and the energy drains out of the building faster than it arrives. The excitement that once surrounded McDaniel's system has dulled. Opposing defenses seem ready for it, waiting for it, forcing Tua into tight throws that lead to stalled possessions or turnovers. And on the other side of the ball, the unit that was supposed to anchor this team has cracked too many times, leaving the Dolphins playing catch-up far too often. It's impossible to talk about this without wondering, how much longer does Tua have as the unquestioned starter? Fans who once defended him fiercely now hesitate. Critics who doubted him feel validated. And inside the building, no one will admit it yet, but the conversations must be happening. If this season continues its freefall, do the Dolphins explore a new direction at quarterback? Do they move away from the man they just invested $212 million in? Or do they cling to him, hoping the past flashes of brilliance aren't gone forever? The weight of all that pressure doesn't just fall on Tua's shoulders. McDaniel's job isn't safe either. Coaches have been fired mid-season for less than this. And when the locker room starts losing faith, ownership often acts quickly. Will the Dolphins brass give McDaniel the full season, or will they cut ties early, making him the scapegoat for a collapse that feels like a collective failure? The truth is, nobody around this team looks untouchable anymore. Every mistake, every incomplete pass, every blown coverage feeds the storm. The patience of fans has worn thin after years of waiting for this team to rise. They were promised excitement, progress, a new era. What they're watching instead is another chapter of disappointment, and disappointment always demands answers. Maybe this story takes a turn. Maybe the Dolphins rally, rediscover their rhythm, and prove everyone wrong. Maybe Tua silences the noise, stacking big games together the way he once did. Maybe McDaniel adjusts, proves his mind still has fresh tricks to offer. But maybe isn't enough anymore. Maybe he doesn't erase the standings, doesn't erase the 0-3 start, doesn't erase the anger boiling among the fan base. The Dolphins are standing at the edge, staring into a season that already feels broken. Can they drag themselves back into relevance? Or is this the year everything changes? The quarterback, the coach, the direction of the franchise? That answer is coming, and it's coming fast.